Hey everyone, it's Vision, and today we're taking a look at my $10 keyboard. Now this thing's gone through upgrades enough, however, I'm not really happy with it. These keycaps aren't really for me. The typing experience isn't that nice, the board doesn't sound good to me, but I heard really good things about these keycaps, so I really wanted to put them to the test. Just to give a quick recap, this is the TEWELL 60 keyboard. Originally it came with MX Blue switches and practically an empty shell. For upgrades, I desoldered the PCB, put some Milky yellow switches, and I also did a silicone pour, which helped the keyboard. The keycaps were very textured and poor quality, so I upgraded them to Drop's Marble Infinity War keycap set, which I got for a hell of a good deal. But I found out that I don't like the sharp profile of the MT3, so I actually have not used the board since the upgrades. Kind of sat in the drawer unused, and I wanted to give it some more life. I decided to do another round of upgrades. With paint, new keycaps, and the power of Phil Swift, this keyboard's way better and still pretty cheap. First things first, let's paint. I will be painting the board white, giving it a red and blue stripe to match the keycap theme, and the first challenge, the sticker, but nothing some Goo Gone can't fix. To prep the surface, we'll be scuffing up the outside with some sanding to help get an even coat. However, due to circumstances entirely in my control, painting, some may say, is not my specialty. After applying the first layer of primer, I should have just painted normally, but since I wanted a perfect coat, I sanded and applied another layer of primer. Too much primer though. This little art project turned into a mess, so a few things I learned. When painting, try to have the bottom not against a hard surface. This will help so that the paint doesn't build up at the bottom. Also, be patient. I moved this too fast and the paint messed up from the plastic bag that I used to protect my table. So I decided to restart. A fresh start, you know? So I applied some citrus strip. However, it didn't turn out like it should have. This itself turned into a mess of sanding and kind of just citrus strip everywhere. There are better ways to apply this, and I should have left it longer and probably in plastic wrap. So taking my scrapers, I started removing the paint, damaging the surface too while I was at it. Basically, at this point, these keyboard videos are not what to do. As you can see, I didn't let citrus strip nowhere near as long as it should have. So after some more scraping and sanding, I finally got it to the level I wanted to be at. Basically, where I gave up. Alright, time for part 2. This one a bit better. Another layer of primer and glossy white paint. I was actually able to do a decent job, so I added the stripes. And this is what it looks like. This came out decent. Still imperfections, but I thought it was finally time to move on. Time to use the power of Phil Swift and some flex paste. Oh wait, remember these things? Yeah, the feet. Well, somehow during this multi-day painting, sanding and painting, I lost them. And I didn't really want a gap in the bottom, so I filled it with flex paste. Luckily, Phil Swift includes a piece of candy. So never used this before. I grabbed a glob and I filled in the riser holes. It did take 2 days with 2 layers for the bottom to cure enough. Then I gave the back a final layer of paint, and it also helped because I was able to clean up the color lines too. I was finally able to add the flex paste in the keyboard case, but it was really a mess. Unlike the silicone pour, it did take a while to get into the board, and as even as I could, because it's really thick. After waiting about 24 hours to cure, I went to trimming the flex paste. Trimming took quite a bit to remove the flex paste. I used a scraper, a flush cutter, and a pick to take off as much as I can while still filling in as much space that I could. After about 1 hour later, I was finally able to get the PCB placed properly after some cutting and scraping, and now this board has some good weight to it. I did also go back and add another 3rd layer to the flex paste in the back just to smooth it out a bit more. And flex paste was practically all over this board, so I kind of had to use the scraper on all sides to remove the excess. But I finally got it all clean and kind of where I'm happy about it now. For the keycaps, I got the Jomkiz PBT keycaps. The set isn't like any other set I currently have, so it definitely caught my eye. And to my surprise, they're actually decent quality. They are smooth but grippy, if that makes sense, and they look great. And as equally as important, they're actually very stable on the switches. Overall, I'm happy with this board. After restarting with the paint, I almost wanted to quit, but I'll take it as a learning experience for any and all of my future projects. My favorite part about custom keyboards is you can really add whatever you want and do whatever you want to make them yours, even if they don't come out perfect in the end. Oh, and I almost forgot. I added new feet to the bottom to help the sound and also to fight any vibration. And now for the most important part, the sound test. Let's give a before with the stock MX Blue switches. And now after these mods. To recap this board, we upgraded the switches from MX Blue switches to Milky Yellow, added in flex pace, new feet, and PBT keycaps. This completely changed the sound profile of the board. The same board goes for about $25 on Amazon on no sale, but I think if you're getting into keyboards, you can start here and build your way up. Trust me, my first custom keyboard was supposed to be my endgame keyboard, but it still wasn't perfect, and as you can tell, it definitely wasn't my last. Enjoy the process and build the keyboard that you want. It's actually pretty fun to take it apart, learn how it works, learning to solder, learning to paint, sand, and kind of get to this endpoint. I was literally walking in Lowe's, saw a tub of flex base, and went, oh, I wonder how that would sound in a keyboard. And that's how this video started. Thanks for watching, everybody. Curious on the first set of upgrades? Click this video here, and if you have any recommendations on what I can do next, let me know down in the comments below. Thanks for watching, everyone. Have a good one.